beautiful jewels and gems, and all of my mommies out there. I cannot tell you how ecstatic I am right now, okay? We have a little baby girl. God is so good. I'm gonna cut to a clip of the night that I went into labor. I just showed a few things. I was expecting to be filming the whole time. It didn't happen because I was in labor and I was exhausted, and I wasn't really trying to be on camera as much as I thought that I was. However, David did get some clips and he posted them on Instagram, and I will post those in here as well. And then I'll come back and finish telling you the story. So let's go to those clips and I'll be right back. Hi guys! Oh my gosh, just getting together the last few things. Running out of breath. For going to the hospital, and I was going to record the video today, but didn't get to do that. My hospital bag, you know, the whole what's in my hospital bag video, I'm going to do that. I'm in labor. I'm pretty sure my water broke, so David is packing up the car right now. It's kind of crazy. He just put the car seat in and he just packed up his stuff, and me and Selena's stuff is right there, ready to go. Ah, yes, her name is Selena. Can't wait to meet her. I'm gonna bring you guys with us. I'm feeling pretty good right now. Just a little out of breath, but other than that, man, we're just excited. Her due date's still not for a few days. It is about 10:45 p.m. and yeah, it's happening. So I'll check back with you guys in a little bit. Whew. So here's everything. I got my sweater and my purse. This is the bag that we're taking in with all Selena's stuff in it, which I will show you guys what it was later. My jacket, because it's kind of cold. Here is an extra diaper bag that I brought some other little things that are going to pretty much stay in the car, and this is a towel because my water did break. And here I brought a fountain so that I can be calm. My camera bag. Here's the duffel bag I'm taking with all my stuff in it. It's actually David's bag. David's backpack. That's all he needs, right? And a blanket for him. And a pillow.
It's your boy Dave D. Here with Chauntel. Water breaking. It's going down. We having this baby right now. It's active. I don't know what it's gonna do. It's happening right now. The baby got it.
Oh my god. So we picked up a munching pill, and we split it, and then we got to the hospital. It was like 11:30. My water broke at 10:15. We got to the hospital about 11:30. We kind of just lollygagged for about 15 minutes. And then he was like trying not to be excited, but he was so excited. He's like, let's go in there, you know. I'm just like, okay, whatever. Because I wasn't tripping because I knew that it wasn't going to be happening anytime soon anyway. So we go inside, and we had to go through the emergency, and then the security guard was like, it's that time? And I'm like, yeah, it's that time, you know. So we go upstairs, and we walk up to the front desk, and the lady's like, so how can I help you? And I was like, I thought that was such a ridiculous question, but I was just like, well, I think I need to be admitted. So she gets us into a room. We had this really nice nurse. She was amazing. And by the way, I wasn't sure. I saw a lot of people on YouTube talking about giving, you know, your nurses something, bring something for them. And I absolutely believe that is a really good idea. And I'm totally going to go back and bless my nurses with something special because they were so incredibly nice. God really blessed me with great nurses from the beginning pretty much to the end. At the end, it started getting kind of thin. I don't know, but anyways, so they admit us into the room. I mean, they're looking at this room like, man, this looks like a little hotel suite. Like, it was pretty surprising, like how nice it was. And so I get in the bed, I'm sitting there, and she's like, okay. Like, I kind of told her my story, and I don't think she was convinced completely that I was, you know, in labor. And then the midwife came in maybe an hour later, so I'm just chilling there for an hour. Actually, me and David took a walk and all that. She came in, she checked me and did kind of like what you do in a pap smear, which was very uncomfortable, and I was not happy about it. And she pretty much told me, I'm not sure. She wasn't convinced that this was amniotic fluid, but I was like, I'm pretty sure. So she left. She had to go look at it under the microscope. The nurse told me that amniotic fluid dries a certain way, so I'm like, okay, whatever. So she goes and she checks, and she comes back, and she's like, okay, you know, this is amniotic fluid. Like, your water has broken. And she checked to see how far I was dilated. I was only 1.5 centimeters, and I had an appointment like that Thursday before, so 3 days prior, where I was 1 centimeter dilated. I was only 1.5. So that means in 3 days I had only gone 0.5. I was like, what? So I started to walk, and I walked. David walked with me, and then I told him to rest for the second time around. So she said walk for about an hour, so I did, and I did this in 2 different spurts. Oh.
How you feel, baby?
Oh, horrible. So I had walks about 2 hours. We even walked. Oh my gosh, my earring. I pulled it out. Yeah, we had to even walk stairs. I did squats.
Chauntel doing squats right now.
And so then 6 hours later, like that morning, the midwife checked me again, and she was like, you're still 1.5 centimeters. And I was like, what? So from there, I was just like, I don't know what to do. Like, I wanted to do everything naturally. That was my plan. More so than anything, I just didn't want an epidural. I wasn't planning on getting any medicine, but I was like, you know what, whatever. I really don't care that much. My mom told me that she had gotten some medicine, and I just was like, I want to get this going. I was still not very dilated, and I was starting to feel some pains. My contractions were starting to get closer together. They're about like 4 or 5 minutes apart. They were still kind of sporadic, and as they had been since I got to the hospital. So I went ahead and took this medicine that, as she said, ripens your cervix, and you can take it orally or vaginally. Luckily, I was able to take it orally, and pretty much it just helps you to open your cervix. But it wasn't the one that I was trying to run from, which is Pitocin. So I was like, okay. So she was like, with this medicine, you can still walk around, and it'll just naturally just get your body moving. And I was like, cool. So 6 hours in, only 1.5 centimeters. I had also brought my fountain with me during this whole process, and my plan was to listen to Zen music, watch my fountain to help me breathe the contractions. I didn't take any Lamaze classes or anything like that. And so it worked pretty well at the beginning. And then I started to actually really dilate. I was opening. And I think I was at about 5 centimeters. It was getting real. I had walked another hour, so altogether I had walked about 3 hours. That last time walking was hard. I had to talk myself through that one. And so my plan was also, if you've watched my videos, to kind of squat or like hold the bed or do different things. Use the yoga ball. I tried the yoga ball, didn't do much for me. It did at the very beginning, but as I started getting closer and more open, it just hurt more. I thought about standing up and walking, but I was like, nope. If I move at all, I am not gonna continue going through this. I'm gonna need the medicine. And David and my dad were coaxing me, like they took turns, one fanning me, one talking to me, helping me breathe through it. I couldn't have got through this without them. Now let me tell you, like, seriously. So they're fanning me, and I'm like, I know that when you go into this and you have pain, that people are mean. So my goal was like not to be mean. I ended up just kind of being bossy instead. So I'm like, fan me, don't fan me. You know, come closer, move away. You're too close, you know. Talk to me, you know, do this. And I just kept telling them stuff to do. Kept yelling at David about music because people kept calling on the phone, and it kept cutting the music off that I was listening to, my Zen music. So it was just so much going on at once. So that's all that was going on during this time. The nurse later told me that your hormones are all over the place, which makes your temperature go up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. So I was pulling the covers on and off, and they're fanning me and fanning and unfanning. It was just craziness. So when I got to about 6 to 7 centimeters, Selena was all the way at the bottom, and she was ready to come out, and I was ready to push her out. So I started pushing, and it was terrible. Like, I could not help but push, which was bad, and I didn't realize how bad at the time. But the nurse looked at me and she said, oh, I understand why, you know, this is so difficult for you. It's so difficult for you because the baby's all the way down. She was able to feel her head all the way down. And so I tried between 5 and then 6 to 7 centimeters. I was screaming at the top of my lungs because I was in so much pain. And so it got to the point where I couldn't stop pushing. And she said, Chauntel, if you don't stop pushing, everything that you're trying to avoid, everything that you're trying to prevent is going to go out the window. You're going to end up with a C-section because your cervix is not going to let the baby come out. It's going to be swollen. And you're going to end up with an epidural because you're going to have a C-section. So she was pretty much like, you need to get, you know, yourself under control. And so I tried really hard. At about 5 centimeters I could. When I got to 6 or 7, I could not. I tried it for about 15 minutes and I was just like, look, I can't stop pushing. So instead of me end up getting all this other medicine, just go ahead and give me, you know, a medicine that will, she said, take the edge off. So I took some medicine through the IV and it definitely took the edge off. I felt like as soon as it hit my body, I felt like this cool, calm, that's how I felt. And I was like, wow, okay. So I just stayed with that, but I could still feel the pain. It was just kind of helped a little, kind of made me high and drowsy and sleepy. And David's, you know, I just remember him standing there and he was counting with me, 1, 2, 1, 2. My dad said I was in that state for about an hour where I was trying to breathe through that stuff, man. And at the end, like at the end of that hour or whatever it was, I started screaming again. I mean, there was a few screams in between, but I was able to control it a lot better after I got the medicine. But there was one point where I could not control it. I was yelling. And she was like, Chauntel, she was like, let me check you. And I was like, I'm thinking, I can't really talk. All this is in my head. But I think some words did come out. And I was like, how do you know, like how will you know if the baby's ready? Because she was like, let me check you, maybe the baby's ready. And I didn't think enough time had passed between when she gave me the medicine and where I was. So I was like, you're not sticking your hands anywhere unless you know that something is about to go down. Like, that's what I wanted to tell her. But I mean, I didn't have a choice. So I'm just like, okay, whatever, just check and see. And so she did, and she's just like, okay, like she's ready, you know. And so she told me to push. She said, we're gonna start pushing. And so she told me to push, and I tried pushing, and I pushed wrong. So when I pushed wrong, she was like, look, if you don't do this correctly, if you don't breathe right, the baby's gonna go back inside. And I was like, what? We are not doing that. So I was like, all right. So my dad kind of came in at that point, and he kind of like helped me breathe through those. I mean, it's the opposite of breathing that you would normally do. So I was just like, what the heck? So somehow I got it, and I started pushing. You push on the contractions, apparently. So I pushed on the contractions. I started doing it right. David was standing right in front of me. He was looking really excited. I saw him like running up like he was watching the game or something, and you know, his team was winning. Like, that's how he looked. And then the nurse was like smiling, and she was like, I can see that black hair. And as soon as she said she could see that black hair, I was motivated. I was like, all right, let's do this, you know. And the amazing thing is that I had been trying so hard not to push for so long. Pushing was the most relaxing thing ever in life. I was so happy to be able to push. Like, it was just the most amazing thing. In fact, besides the ring of fire, which is when the crown of the baby's head is like right there and it's really coming out, pushing the baby out was way easier than dealing with all that pain of my contractions. So let me just say that. So if you can get through that cervix dilating, I think you can get through the labor a lot easier.
Push, baby. Baby, push.
1, 2,
push,
3,
push. I see her. Push,
6,
She's almost out. Come on, baby.
8.
Come on, baby. Push.
10. Okay,
Push.
Breathe in.
Breathe in, baby. Breathe in.
Okay, now get your next breath. Fill up. Right,
Woo, baby, she's almost there.
2,
She's almost there.
3, 4, 5.
Come on, baby.
So she's coming out. I could feel her coming out, and it took me about 15 minutes, according to my dad, to push her out. And when she came out, I just saw her go up in the air, and I guess that was the point where they like squirt in the mouth. And I was just waiting. I was waiting like on pins and needles, like like, breathe, baby, cry, cry, cry. I think it was about 5 seconds when she wasn't crying, and I was getting worried. And then all of a sudden she started crying, and I started crying, and I just started saying, my baby, my baby, my baby. I must have said my baby like 8 times. I was like, she's alive. I love her. I said like something like, I've been talking to her all this time, and she's here now. And I just, oh, I'm so crying now. And I just couldn't believe it. And so then I guess they cleaned her up a little bit and they gave her to me, and I just held on to her. And at that point, all I did was I just looked at her nails. She had these really long nails. Because I knew that it wasn't over. I knew that there was more about to happen. I had to get the placenta out. I had to get stitched up. I had all these things had to happen. So I didn't really want to take it in all the way her until I could really appreciate her. So I just waited. I just stared at her fingers. He stitched me up. He said something like, you're gonna feel a little pinch. And so he, gave me a shot that kind of like numbed the area, stitched me up. I guess they kind of like pumped the placenta out like with her hand, the midwife, and she got it out. And she kind of was staring down there before she called the doctor, and I was like, something isn't right, And so then I found out that I had 3rd-degree tears, which, whew, no joke. But she was 8.9 pounds, 20 inches long, and I will be sharing her in my next video. But I just wanted to kind of give you guys an idea of what I went through in that amount of time. But all in all, she's healthy and happy, and me and Debbie couldn't be happier. It's the most amazing experience being a parent. And I will give you details on how I'm doing and recovering and show her to you in my next video. But thank you so much for watching. I love you guys so much. Leave comments below if you have any recommendations for me, if you have any questions that I didn't answer. I love you so much, and see you soon. I'm so excited to be full term. I'm 37 weeks, okay? So this is like my 9 month and a week. You can use pink or a different color, and then one white for the middle.